Welcome to the Roaming Yeti podcast. I'm your host and head Yeti, Beth Scalacci, and we are diving into the Addy Files this week. The Addy Files are when I want to dig a little deeper into a topic and I don't have an expert available. So I send Agent Addy, our favorite Yeti mascot, out to investigate, and she brings back her findings. Welcome to the Addy Files. Earlier this year, I did an episode with Mark Palvino about hiking the peaks of the Adirondacks. He talked about the abandoned plane wreckage on Wright Peak. This one has been in the back of my mind for a while, and I wanted to learn a little bit more about it. So once again, I sent Addy out to learn more. In addition to the plane info, Addy presented me with information about some other abandoned places in the Adirondacks. The following are her field notes. Are you ready? Let's roam. In the early morning darkness of January 16th in 1962, an Air Force B-47 Stratojet bomber slammed into the top of Wright Peak in the Adirondack backcountry near Lake Placid during a practice run. It is thought that the bad weather of freezing rain and wind-driven snow caused the crash. It took more than 4 days to find the first pieces of wreckage. 3 open parachutes and part of a wing were found at first. The parachutes were not opened by crew members, but seemed to have opened on their own during the crash. Remains of 2 of the men were found about a week later. The 3rd crewman was found later, and 1 man's remains, unfortunately, were never found. The plane apparently veered off course due to the bad weather, and were probably not aware of the high peaks of the Adirondacks. It was determined that all 4 crewmen on board died when the plane went down. The wreckage was scattered across the mountain summit. Just below the summit of Wright Peak, you can still find pieces of debris from the bomber. A plaque was placed near the impact site to honor the 4 lives lost. First Lieutenant Rodney D. Bloomgren, First Lieutenant Melvin Spencer, First Lieutenant Albert Kadetsky, and A1C Kenneth R. Jensen. It was really interesting and sad that that's still there. That it occurred, and interesting that the wreckage is still there and was not removed. But I'm glad that they're honoring the 4 lives lost. And I know people climb to see that and to honor them as well. But in addition to the abandoned wreckage, Addy also tracked down some other abandoned places that you can check out throughout the Adirondacks. Most of them you can go check out. There's one, and when we get there, I'll tell you. The first one is Tahawus, which is also known as Adirondack, but without a K at the end. It was a historic mining site, and it's also now considered a ghost town, and it's found in the Adirondack Mountains. Tahawus was primarily known for its mining activities, especially the mining of iron ore. And iron deposits were discovered in the region in the late 19th century, and mining operations began in the mid-1800s. The mine was one of the first commercial mining ventures in the Adirondack Mountains. The ore that was mined there was very rich in iron, and iron was used in various industries, including construction and manufacturing. In the late 19th century, the Adirondack Club, which was a group of prominent businessmen and politicians, established a private retreat near Tahawus mine, and it was used as recreational purposes, sort of their outdoor club. But then in 1940, a new mine opened for the purpose of obtaining titanium oxide. And this allowed for a whole new community to be built. And by 1945, Tahawus had 84 buildings. And then by the time the mine ceased operations again in 1989, 40 million tons of titanium had been extracted. I mean, that's a lot. Today, Tahawus is considered a ghost town, as little remains of the once thriving mining company. The site is within the boundaries of the Adirondack Park, and some remnants of old mining structures can still be found for hikers and history enthusiasts to check out. So that is one that you can see parts of. The next one Addie brought back to me was Camp Santanoni. And Camp Santanoni is a historic great camp located in Newcomb, New York. And it's one of the most well-preserved and significant examples of what's considered the Adirondack Great Camp style architecture. And that style of architecture was popular in the late 19th and early 20th centuries. So Camp Santanoni was built in the late 19th century by Robert C. and Anna Prune, who were a wealthy company from Albany, a wealthy couple from New York, Albany, New York, not company. The construction of the camp began in 1892 and then was complete in 1893. The couple used the camp as their summer retreat to escape the city's heat and enjoy the beauty of the Adirondacks. And the Adirondack Great Camps were private retreats and built by wealthy families during the Gilded Age. And they were characterized by rustic yet elegant architecture. They liked to blend into the surrounding wilderness, didn't sort of, want to stick out. They wanted to make it similar in look as it's part of. And Camp Santanoni was designed by architect Robert H. Robertson in this rustic style, with buildings made of native materials such as logs and stone. The camp is spread out over a large area of land and includes the main lodge, several guest cabins, a farm complex, and even a boathouse. And the camp's buildings are strategically placed to provide breathtaking views of the surrounding mountains and lakes. And one of the unique features of Camp Santanoni is its remote and pristine location. The camp is nestled deep within the Adirondack wilderness, accessible only by a 5-mile-long carriage road, which visitors can hike or bike during the warmer months now, and during the winter, visitors can ski or snowshoe to reach the camp. The camp is now owned and managed by the New York State Department of Environmental Conservation and is listed on the National Register of Historic Places and has been carefully preserved to showcase its original beauty and significance. So it's open to the public. It's part of the Forest Preserve of Adirondack Park, and visitors can actually explore the camp buildings, take guided tours, and learn more about the rich history and the architecture of great camps. As someone who really gets into some of the architecture, this is one place that I'm looking forward to checking out at some point, just to see how all the camp, how it looked and how people vacationed at that point in time. Another place that Addie found was the Lake Placid Club. These are remains of an Adirondack hotel. The Lake Placid Club is a historic resort located in Lake Placid in New York, in the heart of the Adirondack Mountains. The Lake Placid Club was built in 1895 by Melville Dewey. Does that name sound familiar? Yeah, it should. He's also the creator of the Dewey Decimal System used in libraries. So this is his place. He sought to create a place where people could escape the city and enjoy the pristine natural beauty of the Adirondacks. And the club was established on a large estate encompassing over 2,400 acres. So yes, our guy Dewey Decimal System also built a club up in Lake Placid. The Lake Placid Club quickly became known for its sports and recreational facilities. It offered various activities, including golf, tennis, boating, fishing, horseback riding, and winter sports such as ice skating, skiing, and tobogganing. The club's commitment to sports helped make Lake Placid a renowned winter sports location. It also actually helped get the Winter Olympics. So, it's pretty important. It's a pretty important club up there. The Lake Placid Club operated as a private resort with a membership system. If I understand correctly, that membership system was not without some faults of exclusion. So that wasn't a great part of its history. But over the years, the popularity of private clubs did decline, and the resort did face financial challenges, and it eventually ceased operations in the 1980s. Today, many of those buildings that once belonged to the Lake Placid Club are either privately owned, part of residential communities, or used for various purposes. The main lodge, while no longer a hotel, is still standing and has been adapted for other uses. So you can see some of these buildings. Not sure, if you can enter. It's definitely not part of a park or part of the state. And then another place that has been abandoned and is not available for visiting is Frontier Town. Now, Frontier Town was a Wild West themed amusement park located in the Adirondack Mountains. And the park, which it opened in 1952, which if you listen to my episode a few weeks ago about Enchanted Forest and some of those other parks, you know that this was the time that a lot of these small parks were opening. This one was a different theme. It was designed to recreate the excitement and adventure of the American frontier during the 19th century. And it became a really popular attraction for families, tourists, and travelers just passing through that area. Frontier Town was founded by Arthur Benson, who was a businessman who wanted to create a unique entertainment experience for visitors. And the park was designed as a Western frontier town, complete with wooden buildings, streets, and themed attractions. They definitely went a different direction from the storybook character theme. And Frontier Town had some unique attractions, such as a Prairie Junction, a Pioneer Village, a Native American village, a rodeo arena, and a small railroad. And over the years, Frontier Town expanded its attractions, had other themed areas. It changed ownership multiple times. It saw a lot of updates, a lot of various updates, a lot of renovations. But unfortunately, Frontier Town just faced too many financial challenges and also declining attendance in the late 20th century. So it closed its doors to the public in 1998 after nearly 5 decades of operation. So, I mean, it was a good run, for frontier-based theme park. The state was supposed to take it over and create a tourism hub on the site, but that didn't happen. And it seemed to get we got a lot of conflicting information, but it seems though maybe a private investor has bought the area, and there's maybe like a trading post and some places to eat, but there's definitely not a full park, and no one's allowed on to that abandoned land either. So unfortunately you can't go visit that, but it did exist, and it sounds like it was a fun time. Finally, this was fascinating, having seen Oppenheimer, that there are Atlas missile silos in the Adirondacks, in Plattsburgh, New York, which is located on the western shore of Lake Champlain. It was home to Atlas F missile silos during the Cold War. Plattsburgh Air Force Base, which was operational from the 1950s to the 1990s, housed several of these missile silos. The Plattsburgh Air Force Base was an important strategic location during the Cold War due to its proximity to major East Coast cities and its position for potential nuclear deterrence against potential adversaries. The base was part of the United States Air Force Strategic Air Command and housed Atlas F intercontinental ballistic missiles in underground silos. And the Atlas F missiles stored at Plattsburgh Air Force Base were designed to be launched from their underground silos in response to potential nuclear threats. So they were part of the efforts to maintain a deterrent during those Cold War years that a lot of us lived through. Since the end of the Cold War, though, Plattsburgh Air Force Base has been closed and the missile silos have been decommissioned. Today, some of the former missile silo sites are at Plattsburgh have been preserved or repurposed for other use, while others have been remediated for environmental purposes. So in addition to the peaks, you can see seems like the Adirondacks have a lot to offer every type of tourist. And there's definitely a few of those I would like to check out. If you've been to any of these or you know of any others, again, please let me know. I'd love to get some firsthand experience from those. But in the meantime, I hope these episodes inspire you to get out and roam, even in your own neighborhood. So please subscribe so you don't miss future episodes. And if you like what we're doing here, please leave a review and a rating. Also, to help support us, please head to Yeti to shop to pick up some Roaming Yeti merch and sign up for our newsletter to join us in our monthly bingo challenge. Talk to you soon and keep roaming.